In my research, I found two main trellis designs living on the internet. Doesn't matter if you make them from a pine board or cedar picket. One is built to make you money, and the other will ruin your business. More about that coming up. Using beginner tools, I built two different garden trellises, costing me less than a cup of coffee. And somehow, Walmart's selling these for $120 each. Head over to your local lumber store and pick yourself up some cedar fence pickets. Cedar is great for outdoors due to its natural oils that prevent rot, decay, and also acts as an insect repellent. And when you're digging through that pile, make sure you're looking for a picket that has no knots. I know it's tricky, but it's important. I always cut the end of my dog ears off so that my board is 70 inches long. Did you hear that, my pine board brothers? 70 inches long. Next, we rip the entire picket into 3/4 inch strips using whatever saw you have available. There is a link in the description on how to measure and rip your material safely using a circular saw. There's a timestamp in everybody's life when they didn't own a table saw yet. I think I was 6. I was way older than 6, I'm just kidding. Probably 17. I could drive, so 17. Once you've finished ripping your board and your table saw has taken its 1/8 inch kerf tacks per cut, you're left with 5 pieces at 3/4 of an inch and 1 piece that's 1/2 an inch by whatever thickness your material was. You're just going to take that thin little piece. We're going to cut it so we have a 1-foot piece, a 2-foot piece. We're also going to use that leftover piece as well. Assembly. Wait, I thought I was going to take the lead on this one. No, I usually am the one. Oh, why don't we just show them together? Absolutely not. I'm not falling for that again. Take my hand. No. Come on, take my hand. Over there? Assembly, we're going to take those 3/4 inch pieces and we're going to lay them down onto that 3/4 inch flat side so that rough part of the picket is facing up. Line the slivers up so they're nice and flush on the bottom, and we're going to measure up 6 inches. For me, I just put the edge of my hand on the board and know to the end of my thumb is about 6 inches. Stay out of the comment section. We're just gonna slather on some glue. I got excited. Don't put glue on the very first picket. It's not important. That's not important because we're going to be tipping these together, and as you rotate them into place, you'll see I didn't really need glue on that very first one. And then just make sure that bottom, again, lines up nice and tight. Make sure you get a bunch of glue all over your workbench. And we're gonna glue them up just like so. Our skinny 1/2 inch leftover piece that we cut to 1, 2, and a little under 3 foot long, I marked the center for all 3 of those. That's just gonna help us in this next step. Using Titebond 3 because it is an exterior waterproof glue. Titebond 2 is water resistant, it is not waterproof. I'm gonna put one of these 7-inch spacers on either side. The width of the spacers does not matter. They're 1 3/4, they're leftover pieces from other picket planters. I figured this was gonna like take the whole bench. So you're gonna take our longest piece, almost 3 foot long. It's 34 inches since I cut 2 inches off of the actual picket to start. Our center line, we just line up with that center picket, should remain straight all the way down. And I have, the dog holes. I also have some cutouts. I can see what is square to 90 degrees for the bottom and what isn't. If you guys need to put a square on the center board, you certainly can. That would help out as well. And I just position it on this board so I have a little bit of overhang. About 2 inches is all I need. I don't want to put it all the way up here. That doesn't look good. Symmetrically, they do not all line up when they're in a big stack, so usually people don't buy them and keep them in a big stack. Don't have to worry about it. Titebond 3 glue. I'm just going to put one little dot. And you just kind of squish them down into that glue. I'm using a 1-inch 18 gauge brad nail. Just going to put one into each one. Moving on down the line, I jump to that 1 foot piece. Again, using my center, putting it on the center board. I just slide it up and down until the spacing is close to equal to what my top spacing is. About right there. You can see here that this spacing is a little larger than this. You take a little piece of scrap wood, you can slide them in there. If it's not enough, just move them on down until that spacing is the same. This guy is bigger than that guy, so you might, add a little spacing there, but then it messes that one up. So then you add in some more spacing until they look correct. Little glue, couple nails. In our final 24-inch piece, I just want it to be spaced evenly in between these two. I don't want it up here or something that's gonna look goofy. Use your centering mark, put it on that center piece, spaced in the middle perfectly. Glue, nails, you've done it. Then you remove those spacers from the top, take those clamps off of the bottom, and you're left with a beautiful trellis you can sell for $20 to $40 all day long. But you're a business, and you need to start thinking like a business. What would a business do? Well, they'd sell a marginally better product that didn't cost them any additional overhead. It's called upscaling. Apple's been doing it for years. Oh look, it's orange now. Let me show you. I'm not showing you the iPhone. I'm gonna show you how to make this better than an iPhone. This time around, we are ripping our board down to 5/8 of an inch. You should end up with 7 slivers of wood. Take one of your 7 5/8 of an inch slivers and cut it again at 1 foot, 2 foot, and I believe the leftover's 34 inches. For assembly, glue the bottom the same way as the previous trellis. The top spacers are now 6.5 inches since we are asking those outside pieces to flex an additional 3 inches each. We no longer have a center upright. I'll include how far down or up I measured in the free printable plans. To add a few more seconds, I saw on another trellis build where the individual added glue to the end grain at the bottom to prevent the material from soaking up water. It's a great little tip for those using a 1x6x8 pine board. Once your glue has had time to dry, remove your clamps, remove your spacers. I usually sand off any of the saw blade burn marks from where I've stopped and continued going, and then I usually sand the very bottom of it just to remove any excess glue, make it look a little cleaner. And then you now have a 6-fingered trellis instead of a 5-finger for that same one picket. Now, which one of these is going to cause you to close your business forever? It's neither one of them. I'm going to call this design A. There's a second design of how you can build a trellis that I'm not a big fan of. Design B, for bad, is when you take and mark off 6 to 8 inches and you cut your lines up to that and then you stop. And then what you're supposed to do is fan these out, to look like a trellis. And every time it's gonna break. I've had them where it snapped all of them off at one time. This guy, which was as far as I could get him to go, I kept hearing it snap and break. You can see definitely not as fanned out as our other one. It's broken on the bottom. This one's junk. This guy almost made it, except it broke here on the side. These are all 3/4 or 5/8 inches thick. It's just your picket doesn't like to bend like this. I've seen where they glue a board to the bottom of it. Now I'm gluing an additional piece of wood to the bottom. I don't like the look of it as much. And when you're cutting your pickets all the way through, you can see some of them already start bending for you. They're under stress. Who isn't? These, once you start cutting them, it just doesn't like to bend in that direction. I don't like these. You can't get them to fan out as far. You're going to go through a whole bunch more material than if you had built them like this. Again, free plans on the website, WhosTheVoss.com. Go and check those out. It includes for both pickets if you wanted 5 or 6. This guy, he's just a little bit thicker than this. You can't see it really from the front because you're using the thickness of the picket versus the thickness that you've cut. That's kind of the depth. And I've seen them built where they use 1 3/4 of an inch thick pieces. Those would be a nightmare to bend. And your pine board has a lot tighter grain, so it's going to be harder to bend. Once you clamp up the bottom and glue it, add your spacers into the top. And then, like I'd said, you kind of just play with the spacing for the center. Easy peasy. If you want to build an entire gigantic jig to have around, I've seen those as well. Displaying your trellis as an add-on sale with your picket planters. I recommend putting the trellis behind the planter box. Don't put them inside of it because they look a little goofy. And then if you want to attach your trellis to your planter, just cut a small piece of scrap wood. It's going to go in between the legs, so that way your trellis can butt up and nail into this board. It's just going to fill in this dead space where you have your lip. And just attaches to the back, it fills up your space. You're good to go. Trellis all day. Aw, it looks like a little sailboat. Did you make this? Did you stack these pieces up like that? It's cute. Oops. It's cute. Good job.